Siyabonga Nkosi. Thank you for the welcome remarks. I hope you all feel welcome now. I love the color in the room. I'm not sure if you've looked around. Mfundis, evangelists normally say turn around or turn to your left, turn to your right, and tell the next person next to you, look good tonight. The only exception is that whoever is sitting next to my wife can't say that to her. I own the rights to say that. We are all entitled, courtesy of the foundation, to one drink on the house, soft drink on the house, so one per person. We also are to enjoy the beverage in bottles in front of you. It's sponsored by CA&S. It's good wine. Arne. Excellent. And then there is a cash bar thereafter. For those who are thirsty, who get more thirstier than just one soft drink. I am going to ask Elias to come to the podium to tell us about the event. You have the floor, Masilela.
Thank you very much, Zweli. I will not greet because 3 people have already done it on my behalf. My responsibility is threefold. One is to give you context why you are here. We grew up gate crashing parties and not knowing what the celebration was about. We're trying to stop that. Secondly, is to give you a sense of what we are thinking as a family. And that is going to involve a story. And lastly, I'm going to do what my brother does every year. He calls it a report to the AGM, where he gives a scorecard of how number 43 has performed over the year. Now, I'm not sure whether this is a sign that he's retiring and giving me to do it or what, because he's in the house. I would have expected him to do it. But the context of this year is to celebrate life and humanity. The 2 years that we've gone through has taught us, has reminded us, has emphasized that this life does not belong to us. It is just borrowed. And this Mfundis reminds me every day about it. But I'm very glad that I'm amongst family. And this is very important because Uma Gogo used to remind us, Uguti, Bamnanda Bantu. If you don't understand what that means, ask a friend. It is very important to remind ourselves, Babe TPM, that way back in 2009, this is where we started. We are back to square one. And I think COVID is reminding us that at some point, all of us will wind back to square one. And if you think about this very, very seriously, you then associate with the payoff line that we're using this year, back from the brink. We should celebrate that. A lot of us never came back from that brink. They actually took the final step and never came back. And we need to pay attention to the favor that has been given to us. Mfundis, abayi esondweni labantu. Because if they did, they would be doing this. There are three things that I want to do. One is to welcome our awardees. Two is to tell a story. And then give the report card that Ulaki usually gives. In alphabetical order. To the Biko family, welcome. You'll see them as they come up on stage. They don't have to stand up. To the Mahlangu family, I will report to this house that Ugogo Esther, for what happened or what befell her about 2 months ago, she is still not ready to travel. This is why you don't see the full Debele color in the room. But there's some bit of color, as Zweli has mentioned. And greetings to the Sobuke family, whom you shall also see. The story is a very simple one and will require the audience to help to decipher what it means. In 2019, as a family, we decided to celebrate our father's 95th birthday. He is 98 today. This was the first celebration he has experienced in his entire life. He's never celebrated his birthday. And leading to that birthday, he calls his children and says to them, Bantu abam, izolo bengikhuluma noNkulunkulu. I'll translate because I think this is important, Kai. My children, last night I had a conversation with God. And we asked, what was this conversation about? And he said, I was asking God to give me 3 more years. And he can take me after that. Jokingly, we said, so what are you going to do with these 3 years? He said, Ngizowenza izinto zami. I'm going to do my own things. And we say, what are these things? He responds by saying, that is between me and God. Now, this is where you come in. This year is the 3rd year. We don't know what it means. Should we be concerned? Or should we be just happy? I hope by the end of tonight, Babe DPM, you would have amassed enough thought to help us solve that riddle. But as a family that was brought up in song, we have decided to bring a spiritual artist amongst us tonight. In the Masilela tradition, it doesn't matter what the situation is, whether somebody is being born, somebody is unhappy, somebody has died, we continue to sing. And tonight, that spiritual artist is going to also help us to answer the questions that we have as a family. Which makes this year very special for us. It's different to other years. Not only because of COVID, but because of these 3 years. Within the period of COVID, together with our old men, we published a book. And we think every family should lay their hands on that book. It talks about families in the lockdown. My last thing to do is the report card. The report card. Over the year, let me say 3 years, because the last report card was 2019. over the past 3 years, we think number 43 has achieved ample, but would not have achieved what we have recorded without the support and assistance of people in this room. Firstly, the race that the patron referred to today in his welcome note is what is now called bigger and tougher. It is not only a 10-kilometer race, it is now a 21-kilometer race. How many did it today? Not bad, not very bad, right? I will not ask. I will not ask whether it was a 10 or a 21 kilometer. The other thing that we've achieved is that the Manzini City Council, through the wisdom of the CEO and the mayor, they've allowed the race to use the name of the city as a naming right. So those of us who've seen the T-shirt, it is no longer only number 43. It is number 43 Manzini. Now, for those who are old enough, had we been having this discussion in the 1960s, the name would not be Manzini. The name would have been Bremersdorp. Not only that, the mayor has introduced a mayor's special prize, which is a specially defined trophy for the number 43 Manzini race, which was unveiled today. I'm not sure if Toki is here, but the organizers of the race have taken a step further, and they said the numbers that they are seeing are not representative of the history and the story of the city. This is a city that almost single-handedly saw the liberation of South Africa. And they are saying they are targeting 5,000 runners within the next 5 years. This they are going to be doing in partnership with the Cape Town Marathon organizers. This year we've introduced what we call a memorial run. This is a run of motorbikes that commemorates or helps us remember those riders who lost their lives on Swazi roads. That was launched today. We had what we call FIDPDIS moment, where these people rode around Manzini and proceeded to Oshoek border. There are two key reasons for that. The first one is that the encircling of Manzini is to remind us of how instrumental Manzini was in South Africa's liberation. The ride to Oshoek border is to remind us of the path that the liberators used from Zambia, from Europe, through Mozambique, through Swaziland, into South Africa. And for the first time in the history of this movement, we now call it a movement. In the history of this movement, we now have a story which is on one board. And this story tells you what happened at number 43 between 1965 to date. Those of us who know the number 43 wall banner, which is sitting behind us there or in front of me there, along that wall, is very different to the wall banner that is sitting behind me. I would like to take this opportunity to formally unveil this banner as the official banner of number 43 going forward. It, in one place, tells the full story and the full journey of number 43. It so happens that this banner is very liberal. It has a green banner next to it. And this green banner in the future is going to be part of the journey of this movement. And at this point, I would like to take the opportunity to invite on stage our legacy sponsor, Old Mutual Investment Group. Thank you very much.